If you are thinking of traveling or relocating in 2024, here are the 10 safest and happiest countries in the world. And before we list the 10 countries, let's first of all look at the GPI report of the countries going through war and social unrest. According to the 2023 Global Peace Index (GPI) report, the world has become less safe over the past 14 years, with per-country scores deteriorating by 3.2% on average. The report further notes that safety and peacefulness have decreased for 11 of the past 14 years. For example, global peace declined by 0.3% overall between the 2022 and 2023 GPI reports. While safety improved in 90 countries, it dropped in 71 countries and remained stable in 2, for a net loss. The 2023 report also states that declines tend to happen more swiftly and precipitously than improvements, and points out that the most significant deterioration occurred in countries in conflict, such as Russia, Ukraine, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Gaza, Niger, Mali, Gabon, and Haiti. Europe remained the most peaceful region in the world, a position it has held for all the 16 years in which the Global Peace Index has existed. World peace also decreased between the 2021 and 2023 reports, though by a much smaller margin of 0.07%, with 87 countries improving and 73 deteriorating. The war in Ukraine and the uprising crisis in Israel by Hamas increasing tensions among major world powers are cited as two main causes for the decrease. A comparison of the 2021 and 2022 reports, to step back a year, reveals a total of 81 countries growing more peaceful and 80 deteriorating. The average country score deteriorated by 0.34%. The safest continent in the world. A majority of the top 25 safest countries are European countries. Most notable are the Nordic countries of Europe. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, and Finland are not only among Europe's safest countries, they are among the top 25 safest countries anywhere on Earth. This region is thus considered the safest in the world, with a homicide rate of 0.8 incidents per 100,000 inhabitants. These 5 Nordic countries are all in the top 10 happiest countries in the world as well. The second safest region among the top 25 safest countries is Asia. Both Europe and Asia have the world's lowest homicide rates of 3 or fewer per 100,000 inhabitants. Qualities the world's safest countries have in common. There are some commonalities among the safest countries in the world. For instance, safe countries tend to display high levels of wealth, social welfare, and education. Additionally, safe countries typically have effective criminal justice systems and governments that maintain very healthy relationships with their citizens. Let's look at the state of peace regarding the ongoing conflicts in Gaza, Ukraine, Mali, Niger, Gabon, and Burkina Faso, as well as the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, which are marked by significant challenges and instability. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss out on our next interesting video. These regions continue to experience varying degrees of conflict, violence, and humanitarian crises, leading to the displacement of populations and hindering social and economic development. Gaza, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, particularly the situation in Gaza, remains a deeply entrenched and protracted conflict. The region has witnessed recurring cycles of violence, with clashes between Israeli security forces and the Palestinian Hamas group. These conflicts have resulted in the loss of civilian lives, the destruction of infrastructure, and profound humanitarian suffering for the people of Gaza. The lack of a comprehensive resolution and ongoing political disputes contribute to the fragility of the situation. The world is silent about the invasion of Hamas into Israeli territory, the killings, and the kidnapping of dozens by Hamas, but rather many nations flood the streets demonstrating against Israel. Is this justice or injustice? Ukraine, The conflict in eastern Ukraine, particularly in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, has been a significant challenge to peace and stability. The conflict involves separatist movements, geopolitical tensions, and unresolved political disputes. Despite efforts to reach a peaceful resolution, sporadic violence persists, leading to casualties, displacement, and hampering socio-economic progress in the affected regions. Mali has faced a complex set of conflicts, including armed insurgencies, intercommunal violence, and terrorist activities. The northern part of the country, in particular, has experienced the presence of extremist groups such as Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, AQIM, and affiliated factions. These conflicts have resulted in displacement, human rights abuses, and significant challenges to governance and security. Niger faces multiple security challenges, including armed insurgencies, cross-border criminal activities, and ethnic tensions. The country's border regions, particularly those bordering Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria, have witnessed increased violence and the presence of armed groups. These conflicts exacerbate humanitarian needs, disrupt livelihoods, and strain the government's capacity to provide essential services. While Gabon has not experienced large-scale conflicts, occasional political tensions and social unrest have occurred. These tensions often revolve around issues of governance, elections, and socio-economic disparities. Maintaining political stability, fostering dialogue, and promoting inclusive governance are vital for preserving peace and addressing the root causes of potential conflicts. Burkina Faso is grappling with a severe security crisis characterized by the activities of armed groups, particularly in the northern and eastern regions. These groups, including jihadist organizations, have targeted security forces, civilians, and infrastructure. The conflict has resulted in significant displacement, strained social cohesion, and hindered development efforts. Northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon have experienced a protracted conflict characterized by tensions between the government and separatist groups. The conflict has led to violence, loss of lives, displacement of populations, and disruption of social and economic activities. Efforts to find a peaceful resolution and address the grievances of all parties involved are ongoing. Resolving these conflicts and achieving sustainable peace requires a comprehensive approach that encompasses political dialogue, conflict resolution, inclusive governance, and socio-economic development. Diplomatic negotiations, mediation, and the involvement of international and regional actors are crucial for fostering dialogue and finding lasting solutions. Italian assistance is crucial in addressing the immediate needs of affected populations, while long-term development efforts are essential for addressing the root causes of conflicts, such as inequality, marginalization, and lack of access to basic services. Overall, finding sustainable peace in these conflict-affected regions requires the commitment and collaboration of all stakeholders involved, including governments, international organizations, regional bodies, and local communities. Efforts should focus on addressing the underlying causes, promoting inclusive governance, and fostering social cohesion to build a foundation for lasting peace and stability. As we dive into the profiles of the world's 10 safest countries, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss out on our next interesting video. Number 10. Japan. Japan has been in the top 10 countries in the Global Peace Index for 14 years, consistently receiving high marks for low crime rates, minimal internal conflict, and virtually non-existent political unrest. Japan's proximity to potentially hostile neighbors China and North Korea could become a threat to its safety at some point, but has not thus far. Japan is known for citizens having limited access to firearms, as the Japanese do not view carrying a firearm as an individual's right. According to the Safe Cities Index from the Economist Intelligence Unit, Tokyo was the safest city in the world in 2019, ranking first in cybersecurity, second for health security, and fourth for infrastructure security and personal security. Number 9. Singapore. Singapore ranks 9th on the GPI between the 2022 and 2023 GPI reports. In a Gallup report from 2018, Singapore residents felt the highest sense of personal security and had more positive experiences with law enforcement than did residents of any other country. Singapore has one of the lowest crime rates in the world, possibly due to the severe penalties that are issued for even small crimes. The government and police strictly control guns and other firearms, and violent and confrontational crimes are rare in Singapore. As a city-state, Singapore also ranks as the second safest city in the world according to the Safe Cities Index from the Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU. In 2019, Singapore ranked first for infrastructure security and personal security, second for digital security, and eighth for health security. Number 8. Czech Republic. Crime rates in the Czech Republic have steadily decreased over the years, with rates of violent crime in particular dropping significantly. The Czech Republic also has a low incidence of terrorism and natural disasters. Finally, the country boasts many clean and efficient hospitals and a state-run health insurance system that offers affordable rates and enables near-universal coverage. Number 7. Slovenia. One of the former constituents of Yugoslavia, Slovenia has a high safety ranking that can be attributed to its excellent scores in 3 categories: travel security, medical risks, and road safety. Like many Slavic states, Slovenia installed a democratic government in the mid-1990s and is now focused on improving quality of life in many areas, including safety and sustainability. Number 6. Portugal. Portugal comes in 6th in the most peaceful countries rankings for between the 2022 and 2023 GPI reports. In 2014, Portugal was ranked 18th globally and has since made significant strides. Unlike Iceland and New Zealand, Portugal has armed police. However, an increased police presence has resulted in a decreased crime rate in the country. In recent years, Portugal has experienced an economic resurgence, decreasing its unemployment rate from over 17% to under 7%. Portugal consistently ranks among the best countries for retirement, due in no small part to its high level of safety. Number 5. Austria. Austria ranked as the 5th safest country in the world for between the 2022 and 2023 GPI reports. While violent demonstrations in the wake of ongoing social unrest remain a concern, these are relatively easy to avoid, and otherwise, Austria is a very safe country to visit. Serious crimes are uncommon, with the usual caveat to watch for pickpockets and purse snatchers. Additionally, Austria has been spared any major acts of terrorism in recent years. Number 4. Denmark. Ranked 4th on the 2022 and 2023 GPI reports, Denmark is another one of the safest and happiest countries in the world. Denmark is one of the few countries where people report feeling safe at any time of day or night, even children. Denmark has a high level of equality and a strong sense of common responsibility for social welfare, 2 qualities that contribute to its citizens' feelings of safety and happiness. Corruption is rare in Danish business or politics, as honesty and trust are top priorities. While Denmark has a high personal income tax, it funds social programs that ensure all people receive services and perks that help them live comfortable lives. For example, everyone in Denmark has access to tuition-free higher education and health care with no additional fees, and the elderly are provided at-home care helpers. Number 3. Ireland. Ireland became notably more peaceful in 2022 and vaulted from 11th place to 3rd in 2023 rankings as a result. Crime is quite low outside of a few city neighborhoods. As in any country, one should be wary of pickpockets and scammers in tourist-dense areas, and there is little threat of cultural violence or terrorism. In fact, the Irish landscape may pose a greater safety risk than its people. The country's breathtaking cliffs and winding country roads must be treated with respect, especially during a sudden rainstorm or in areas with no cell reception. Number 2. New Zealand. New Zealand is the second safest country in the world. Like Iceland, New Zealand has a very low crime rate, and violent crime is especially rare. Theft is still worth guarding against, especially in tourist areas, which holds true in every country in the world, but the overall risk is minimal. Unlike its neighbor Australia, which is known for its dangerous wildlife, box jellyfish, taipan snakes, stonefish, funnel web spiders, and more, New Zealand has no deadly animals. New Zealanders are generally open-minded and have laws in place to prevent the violation of anyone's freedom of speech or expression. As in Iceland, police in New Zealand do not carry personal firearms. Number 1. Iceland. According to the Global Peace Index, Iceland is the safest country in the world for the 14th year in a row. Iceland is a Nordic nation with a relatively small population of 340,000. Iceland has a very low level of crime, which is typically attributed to its high standard of living, small population, strong social attitudes against crime, a high level of trust in its well-trained police force, and a lack of tension among social and economic classes. Iceland has no military, and the police do not carry firearms, only extendable batons and pepper spray. Iceland also has laws in place to guarantee equality, such as legal same-sex marriage and same-sex adoptions, religious freedom, and equal pay for men and women. If the video was informative, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss out on our next interesting videos.